Hello peeps, it is I, and probably been wondering where I was at, huh? Well, I've been pretty fucking busy, doing work and more work, so that's basically that. And so what I have in the floor is 2 sets of finished templates that have been cut and deburred and finished. Set of blades, one of my tools that I use, and a bunch of other shit. Like this plate here, it's like my workbench. Ha! Alright, so seriously, been wanting to show this. It's actually a knife that I recently got, and it's a pretty cool knife. I'm gonna show you how it works here. So, wham! Pretty sweet. I was actually kind of looking for a switchblade kind of. It's a single action. You have to unlock it, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to close with one hand, but it can be done. And this is actually a, I don't know if you can even see that, my shit camera. This is a Schrade knife. It's a pretty cool knife, really. The only thing that I don't like about it is the fact that it'd be a bitch to sharpen, but I really like it. There's some measuring tools and my can of Monster. Yeah, shameless plugs, I know. Alright, seriously. So, on the floor here, got some work that I'm doing, and the glove that you're looking at is actually a prototype build glove. It's actually going to be probably the build glove that I'll be focusing on, really. And I'm going to start showing a few things now. Basically, my main work was to get done some of the cutting, because really it's my least favorite part. And I wanted to go ahead and cut a good set of templates there so that I would be able to just go ahead and start building a couple of gloves. And that's basically what I've been doing. So it's taken me a long time. I've been hand cutting this stuff, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about is, you know, if you're hand cutting these templates and you're hand cutting your pieces, you know, there's always these places that you're gonna have trouble with, and I don't know if you guys have experienced it or not, but essentially, you know, when you go to cut this stuff by hand, it depends on whether you're utilizing heat and heating up your pieces, or whether you're cutting them, you know, straight off. Me, I do not actually anneal my copper when I cut it. I just cut it as is, and I have a reason for that, oddly enough, but it makes it a little bit more difficult, and you have to go in there and kind of file everything with needle files, and I do a lot of work, so I had to have a pile of crap out. I had to have my cutters out, and I had to have all these files out, and a whole bunch of different sandpaper grits, and you know, I had a mess in my floor. But essentially, you know, I cut out all of the pieces very, very closely and carefully. And the pieces that I'm using now are very, very accurate. And that's due to, you know, all of the reference that's been released over the past few years. And especially, you know, here in the past year or so, lots of very specific reference has been released, whether on purpose or by accident, and I've taken advantage of every single bit of it because I build gloves. I mean, you know, I'm just going to be straight up honest about that. Why wouldn't I take advantage of it, right? So, you know, my templates at this point are down to a level to where they're so accurate that I'm only going to be able to show portions of this, actually, to be able to try to keep some of that, you know, to myself and to others, because really there are aspects of the templates that I'm really not going to show off, and there are parts of it that I will, you know, just like before. But I've really gotten the pieces down to the point to where I can say they're final, and that's what the first set of videos that I did was basically all about, you know, was getting these pieces to the point to where I could match them up as closely as possible utilizing, you know, photos. And that's essentially what I've done here is, you know, with this particular glove. And other than the back plate, which the back plate is completely off, and I'm not going to go in too close to this, you know, you can see some of its aspects reasonably well. And it's got its own issues. For anybody who knows, you know, details on this thing really well, especially in this area, there's some issues going on that are going to be taken care of on my next glove. And this particular area is one of the hardest parts to get just right, in my opinion. You know, if you really want this whole area here, it's just a bitch to get right. But the plate that it's sitting on, these fingers, is actually, you know, a build plate, so it's not really 100% accurate anyway, and its bends, and there's some other aspects of it that I have kind of repaired. So with that in mind, from here what we're going to be doing is going forward and going through the build process through basically I'm going to build one working model that will have this set of blades here, and once I get that taken care of, I'm basically going to build up one glove, and that's it, you know. I'm not going to build very many of these. This is kind of like a personal project, really, and for me it's all about just really trying to get this to the point to where I'm happy with it, and it's, you know, what I see as being part one. And, you know, everybody has their own take on it, and this is going to be mine. And, you know, like I said, it's a very personal thing. It's mostly being done for myself. I may sell 1, 2, 3, maybe, you know, very fucking few if I sell any, okay? So this is not about selling the glove. This is about what I'm doing. And, you know, one of the things that I will do is in this next process of showing some of the build that I go through, I know that there are a lot of newer glove builders out there, and, you know, I'm going to consider them in this process and try to help throw out some tips that I think might help out some of the new people who are not as familiar with building as some of the other guys. You know who you're talking about, you know. Alright, so enough of that. I can ramble on and on and on, and this could go on and on and on. So, what is this? Well, this, oddly enough, I wanted to show this because I'm sure you probably were looking at it and like, what the fuck is this, right? This is actually a little bottle of stuff that will basically absorb any negative energy that's sent to me by hateful assholes. Ha! Just playing. Actually, what that is that is the details of my glove, if you want to see them. So, there they are. And I know that's blurry as fuck because my camera isn't that great, but essentially, you know, that's the fine details of my work. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call this done. And, you know, because we're getting pretty late into time here, but I did want to cover one last thing. You know, I'm going to be going through a series of videos here coming up soon, and you know, each part of this is a phase, and this phase that I just went through was the phase of cutting the templates, which is pretty much my least favorite phase, simply because of the mess that it makes. There's just shards of crap everywhere, and, you know, sanding paper, which I hate, makes a mess everywhere. There's just, like, you know, it's a mess, and a lot of tools involved, a lot of crap I have to have out all at once. So, you know, that part of it I really don't like, and so I just went ahead and got that done, and now we can move on to the next stage. So with the next stage, I'm going to be pulling out my metal bars here. This is one of them, and I use this kind of like an anvil. Actually use the top of it there, and the side, and I use most of my tools that way, you know. My hammers and a couple other things is really most of what I use to build with. There are a couple of specialized tools that I have made that I will actually not show, simply because, well, they're kind of personal. And there's some other things, you know, that I'm not going to show during this process that I'm getting ready to go through. But I am going to show some things, and I am going to talk about some things, and I am going to run into some challenges that will not necessarily be, you know, ultimately easy. But, you know, that's the way it goes. That's kind of what's fun about this whole process, is it's a challenge. And for me, that's what it's all about, is, you know, the challenge of the build and trying to get this down to where I personally want it to be. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this like I said I would, like, 10 minutes ago or something. And, you know, you can expect to see more videos coming soon. Can't tell you how I'm going to be working exactly. The only thing that I can tell you for sure is that the work that I'm going to be doing is slow. You know, I don't work fast. Some of the builders do, and I respect that. But, you know, I don't. I work very slowly. I do things very methodically and in this very strange way of, you know, moving along like a slug. It's just the way that I do it. And so, plus I have to work and do a bunch of other stuff, you know, so this is kind of like a nighttime hobby, something that I do when I have the free time. But, you know, that's rare. So when I do actually get the free time to work on these, I'm going to be showing some things, including, you know, glove work, leather work, you know, what have you. Little bits of the whole process. Might even show some of the soldering when I get around to that. And that's basically it. That's what you can expect to see next. So, really appreciate all of you people out there that watch my videos. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and call this done, as I said I would, like, what, 15 minutes ago? No, seriously, alright. The end of the video, guys. And you can expect to see something again soon. So with that, bye-bye.